So every game special for us. Interesting group, difficult group, I guess. Difficult opening game. And we have Panama that I don't know so much about at the moment, but they are ranked 30th in the world. So this by itself should tell us already that it's not easy. And then we have Ghana, who are regulars in World Cups. There is Kudus and Semenho, who are like well-known top players of the Premier League. So I think overall, very difficult group that.
There's history with Croatia as well, isn't there? There has been a history with Croatia in major tournaments.
I think there's a history with almost everyone. If you manage to play so many tournaments like England, you have history with a lot of countries. But it's a big opening game for both of us.
What about where you're playing, Thomas, in terms of the locations? It looks like Dallas, Boston, Philadelphia, New York, those on the east. It could be very hot. Is that on your mind?
It is what it is. You know, we have to wait until tomorrow. Even now it's like either or. So until tomorrow, then we know. And then we find a solution for it. I think this has to be the mindset for that World Cup. Not everything can be perfectly planned. We have to come up with solutions once we know the facts. Now we know the opponents. Tomorrow we know where we play, the locations, and then we need to come up with the best plan to be there.
Thomas, is it on days like this that you start to have even more excitement and belief that you can go all the way next summer?
Yeah, of course. I'm very excited now. They got me going. Rio Ferdinand's performance was outstanding, and now we know the teams. I mean, I can start next week. It's not a problem now. But the problem is, I see my players only in March, and then we have to wait some other months until June. And I just said it to your colleague. I play tournament football only in Champions League on club level, but you cannot get carried away with building your way on whom you're going to meet, if you win the group, if you're second, whatever. Just focus on the group. This is what you do, and make sure that we are in the right headspace. Make sure that we play with the same hunger and the same excitement with which we played the last 3 camps.
Has that group and those opponents already starting to influence your thinking on the squad selection even further from what you've had so far?
No, because I think much less about squad selections than you maybe think, because it starts in June. Why would I think about the squad selection in December? It just does not make sense. So many things can happen. Of course, I know the players who were with us, and of course I know players which I absolutely want at the World Cup. But still, no one. It does not make sense to focus too much on the selection now. It's just too much time, too much football to be played.
How will the preparation go from now to the World Cup?
Well, the preparation starts basically this afternoon and then tomorrow, by knowing where we play and which times we play. And then, we will come up with a plan for the March camp, and then plan where is pre-camp, when do we play in pre-camp. And then, like I said, full focus on the group. Don't get distracted with any other thoughts, and don't get distracted with any plans ahead. This will just be a big distraction.
Thomas, can I ask what the longest draw show you've been at? What was it like in there?
It was my first one, so it was also my longest one. It was nice. It was a show, and they made it happen. Like I said, Rio Ferdinand was outstanding, and so now we know we have a difficult group and need to be prepared.
What's your make?
You know, Chelsea on Football Cup playing in a lot of these stadiums. So
Very big, very good omen.
that could help you a bit with those playing in these traditional players like Reece James, Paul Palmer, and Levi Colwill.
Well, you could say that, but there is on the other side. There's also a European team had a completely different route, completely different schedule, completely different stadiums, and both of them arrived in the final. So, and then you have only one match to say Chelsea was better prepared because they won. But you know, any match in football can go either way. Even the final could have gone into Paris' favor right in the beginning of the match. So,
But it could be the players that they played in these conditions.
I don't know. It's they experienced it. I think for all players who were in the Club World Cup, it was good to actually experience it. It doesn't make it any easier when it comes again to play in the heat and fight against humidity and altitude and different time zones. But that's just what it is. We have to find a way to dig in. We have to find a way to accept it and build a high tolerance to all these obstacles that will come, because they will come. You cannot just have an ideal scenario for anything that will pop up. There will be some issues, and we have to deal with the issues and have the right spirit. And until now, I'm convinced that we will have, but it's our job to arrive in this kind of mentality.
Thomas, where will you base yourselves? Where will you be based? Was it because we've heard Kansas was your preference? Where now? Why you changed?
It was an option, but now I have to look at the possibilities and the venues from tomorrow. I think we will try to make decisions in the next weeks.
What's the priority in that regard?
The priority could be like having a small hotel just for us to privatize, having good training facility. Don't need to travel and play in 24 degrees, so it will just not happen. We will find I'm convinced that we will find a good solution that ticks a lot of boxes. Like I just said, I think the distances between the venues and the possibilities that can occur during a tournament, against whom you play and where you play, they're just too big to have the feeling, okay, we covered all options. We will just need to be flexible in our mindset and control what we can control. And so from tomorrow we know, and then we will think about the base camp and make decisions.
Does a day like today help you prepare the players for any politics? And it's such a political show, wasn't it, today?
No, a day like today, I don't know. This was not a day for the players. It was a day for the coaches and for the delegations. And I'm not surprised that they put on a show. That's why we did.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, our mission is tactical, it's logistical, and it's all about that immediate moment of truth. We're looking at a coach's unfiltered reaction right after a major tournament draw.
Yeah, that's the pivot point, you know.
It's the moment the hypotheticals just evaporate.
They do. Because as the coach says, it's not about where your team is now, it's about where you're going to be in 6 months. And that draw, it just instantly snaps everything from theory into hard reality.
And that first reality is the group. The coach calls it a very difficult group.
And you can see why. I mean, the opener's against Croatia.
A team with so much tournament experience.
Exactly. And then you have Panama. They're ranked 30th in the world. And the coach's point is that number alone should tell us already that it's not easy.
Right. That's not a walkover. And then you've got Ghana.
Ghana, yeah. Regulars at the World Cup. And they have players you see every week in the Premier League, like Kudus, like Semenho. That is a tough, tough start.
So what does that do to the strategy,
yes,
to the mindset?
Well, what's fascinating is the focus. The coach is absolutely clear. The tactical work is only on the group. You cannot get carried away thinking about who you might play if you finish first or second.
So all that media speculation is just noise.
Complete noise. The only path forward is a singular focus on those first 3 games.
Okay, so if the mental side is locked in on just those opponents, what about the physical side? I mean, we're talking about venues like Dallas, Austin, Philly, New York.
Yeah, and the one thing they all guarantee is heat.
Yeah.
The coach is still waiting on the final schedule, but they know it's going to be hot.
So how do you plan for that?
You don't try to find the perfect solution, because there isn't one.
Yeah.
This is the core of it. He mentions humidity, altitude, different time zones. They're all unavoidable. So the philosophy is you accept it.
You just accept it.
You accept it and you build a high tolerance.
Yeah.
You know you can't have an ideal scenario, so you prepare for the worst one.
The analogy he uses for this is fantastic.
Oh, the one about Chelsea and PSG, it's brilliant.
Yeah, he points to Chelsea winning the Club World Cup, right? They had to deal with all this crazy heat and travel mid-season.
Mm-hmm. And then you have a team like Paris on a completely different, more straightforward schedule. But both paths still can lead to a final.
It just shows that flexibility is way more important than trying to build this perfect, rigid plan.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
You can only come up with solutions once you have the facts. And that brings us to the timeline. As soon as those times and locations are confirmed, which should be tomorrow, the real work starts.
Okay, but here's what I find a little counterintuitive. With all this insane travel, I mean, Dallas to New York is a huge distance. The coach says they think much less about squad selection than you maybe think.
Right.
Why would squad selection take a backseat to logistics right now?
Because the tournament is in June. Thinking about a specific 23-man squad in December, as he says, just does not make sense.
Too much can happen between now and then.
So much. Injuries, dips in form, a player has a breakout season. You have to stay focused on performance right up until that March camp.
So the priority now is the base camp.
Exactly. Find a small private hotel, get great training facilities, and critically, find a location that minimizes travel as much as possible, which is a huge challenge in the U.S.
So if we pull all of this together, what's the big insight here? For me, it's that preparing for a World Cup is less about creating a perfect plan and more about creating a team that has a high tolerance for chaos. It's an exercise in managing obstacles, not avoiding them.
Right. It's a masterclass in just dealing with it.
Which leaves you with a really important question, doesn't it? If you're the coach and you know you need that adaptability, how much do you value a player's history, say their proven ability to perform in tough conditions, versus their pure current form 6 months from now?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's that ultimate balance between experience and just being adaptable in the moment.